Just a little something. Episode. This is the beginning of a series about some things that some leaders of independent schools overlook, omit, misunderstand, or fail to address when it comes to meeting the all-important independent school standards. This series will not go through all the standards in any sort of order, and special requests are welcome, so feel free to get in touch. Before we begin, a bit of advice. Please find time to read the standards. By that, I mean the legal documents that you will find online. Please find time to read that and make sure that you choose the latest available revised version so that you have the most up-to-date requirements. Also, find time to read the DFE's Independent School Standards Guidance for Independent Schools. I am going to attach in the comments the scripts that I'm using for this video so you can find the links to everything I refer to in that document. And now I'm going to borrow from the DFE's guidance document, I'm going to borrow these words. The information I share with you here and throughout this series does not purport to be definitive guidance on the meaning of the standards themselves. Only a court can give that. So let's kick off today by looking at paragraph 32, provision of information. This is the standard which talks about the information that independent schools are required to provide or make available to parents of pupils, to parents of prospective pupils, to other people and other agencies such as local authorities, inspectors, etc. An easy way to provide most of the information required is the school's website, and that's what we are looking at today. There are 5 common areas that are overlooked, omitted, misunderstood by school leaders when it comes to publishing information towards meeting this requirement. Item number 1 is this. When the proprietor of a school is a body of persons rather than an individual, the requirement is to publish the address and the telephone number of its registered or principal office. Many forget to include that this body is the proprietor. In other words, the name of the proprietor will be there, so the name of the body will be there, whether it's a charity or a company, whatever it is, the name will be on the website, the address of its registered office will be there, and the telephone number will be there, but there'll be nothing on the website which says this is the proprietor. And it's an obvious mistake to make because you know who your proprietor is, but the people who are meant to use this information will not know unless you tell them. So please make sure that that's very clear on your website. So that's item number 1. Moving on to number 2. It is about the number of formal complaints received at your school in the last academic year. This information should be provided. Most school leaders just flat out forget to put this information on the website. And sometimes when they realize that they're required to publish the information, they struggle to, find an appropriate place to put this information because it's such a tiny unit. I would suggest, and I'm not saying this is the only place you can put the information, but I would suggest that you put it on the first page of your complaints policy and done. Item number 3 is about inspection reports. When it comes to publishing inspection reports, some leaders think that the requirement is to publish the most recent inspection report. That is incorrect. You are required to publish all standard and additional inspection reports except pre-registration and material change inspection reports. I imagine this is because these are the only 2 reports on which the judgment is about your likelihood to meet standards rather than an actual evaluation of the standards that you have met, But anyway, I digress. Um, Unless you are willing to put links to every standard, every progress monitoring, and every emergency inspection report on your school website, I would suggest that you put a link to your school's Ofsted page. That way, all the inspection reports are accessible. Some of you might, oh, but you said there are two that are not required. They're required, but it doesn't mean you can't publish them. Okay, that's number three. Moving on to item number four, the particulars of educational and welfare provision for pupils for whom English is a second language. In other words, your EAL policy. Schools either fail to publish, or leaders think that they don't have to publish policy if they don't happen to have pupils who speak English as an additional language. This is incorrect. You are required to publish this policy, so please do publish it. And then finally, a statement of the school's aims and ethos. Schools either fail to publish this, or they will publish a few paragraphs about what they do and how they deliver their offer, etc. No, this requirement is that you talk about who you are as a school, why you do what you do, your values, your aims, your mission, your vision, what you are about. That is required on your school website. So that's it. Those are the five common mistakes that are made when it comes to publishing information towards meeting the requirements of paragraph 32. I would like to add a few notes. First, at Morel Consulting Limited, we have produced a checklist which you can use to check the information on your website and make sure that you have published what you need to publish towards meeting this paragraph. There's a link in the document that I will be providing in the comments. And also, if you go to our website, you can download this checklist. I also need to point out that what you publish on your school website is not enough to meet all of the requirements of paragraph 32. This is because the requirements also cover information that you should provide directly to individual parents, to local authorities, etc. So not all of it can be put out, out there for all the public to see. Some of it needs to be given to individuals or individual agencies directly. Therefore, our checklist only covers what you need to put up on your website, or you need to provide to everyone. It does not cover the things that you need to provide directly. I would advise that you check the legislation for the other things that you need to provide directly. On the document that I'm going to put in the comments, I have listed the paragraphs and subparagraphs that we cover and those that we don't cover on the checklist. So you can go check it for yourself on the legislation. And then also, this checklist is not the definitive list of everything that should be on your website. You will need to provide more information, things like opening times, term dates, information that pupils, parents, commissioners, potential staff, there are a lot of stakeholders who want to know about your school. So there's a lot of information that you need to provide there. You can provide whatever information you want on your website as long as you don't break any laws, go against GDPR, etc. But this is only about what is required towards meeting paragraph number 32 of the Independent School Standards. Some of you might come across a checklist that is provided for maintained schools. It's actually called What Maintained Schools Must Publish Online. Obviously, feel free to follow this and follow it as much as you can, because there are some items on that list that you won't have just by virtue of you being an independent school. But it is, it is a very detailed list. You can follow that. After you have done that, though, please do still look at the requirements of paragraph 32, because there are some things that you're required to share by paragraph 32 that are not on this list. And so finally, please make sure that anytime that you update a policy or procedure at your school, that you immediately or as soon as possible upload that policy to your school website. Inspectors read those documents before they come and inspect your schools. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine that you spend, I don't know, half a day reading all of these policies, and then you walk into the school and you're told, "Oh, I'm sorry, but actually, that is not the most up to date version. This is the most up to date version." How would you feel? Inspectors are professionals, but they are human beings. And that's where I will leave you today. I'm going to attach a copy of the script for this video in the comments. I will also attach a copy of the checklist that I mentioned in case you can't be bothered to follow the link. But definitely, please follow the advice about reading the guidance for yourself. And remember, this is not the definitive guidance about the meaning of the standards. Only a court can provide that. See you next time. Thanks.